All right, game one of the Western Conference Finals, OKC versus Minnesota Timberwolves. OKC ended up taking game one of this Western Conference Finals series. And before we get into to talk about, my initial thoughts and reactions, what I didn't like and what I seen from both sides, and we're gonna talk about that. But before we get into it, let's hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that comment section below. My OKC fans, hit that comment section. My Minnesota fans, hit the comment section below. And without further ado, let's go and get right into it. I'm gonna start with the Minnesota standpoint because I feel like even though they lost tonight, I feel like the end score, don't really just like tell the full totality of the game. The game was a lot closer than what the actual final score was when it hit the final buzzers. But from a Minnesota standpoint, if I'm Minnesota, if I'm Coach Finch, I got to be telling Anthony Edwards, hey man, this not one of those series where we just got to sit up and dribble and play with the fool and rely on rely and see if our 3-point shot is falling tonight or not. Even though he made three threes tonight, but the thing is, you got to be able to get downhill. You got to be able to put pressure on Chet Holmgren. You got to be able to put pressure on Isaiah Hartenstein, which I got Isaiah Hartenstein in foul trouble. But the thing is, you got to be able to take out Chet because he can be able to. Because if you take out Chet, you're gonna be able to take away from what they're trying to do, and you're gonna take away another rim protector for the OKC Thunder, and make that and make OKC play a little bit smaller, which can still can somewhat favor their way because they like to play fast on the defensive side of the ball, get up into switch everything, be more scrappy and all that to fly around the court. But the thing is, OKC they have 54 points and 54 paint points today. Minnesota only had 22. With Minnesota being a bigger team, you expect that number the number disparity not to be that way off by 30 points. And that's, Anthony Edwards, I've been saying this all playoffs long. Obviously, you got the 3-point shot. You led the league in 3-point makes this year. But the thing is, man, you came into the league being able to put your head down, get downhill, draw a lot of fouls, dunk on folks, be this type of slasher and all these type of things. That's what we need you to get back into and tap back into that. You can't just sit here and rely and just be able to think you finna be able to play and dribble the ball in front of the OKC defender faces. That's not gonna fly this series. And you learned that real quick in this game in game one of the Western Conference Finals. But I want to say another thing why I feel like Ant struggled tonight was also foul trouble. He had that ankle injury, going in right into the halftime break, and he also had, 4 or 5 fouls. So he was also, that kind of took away his rhythm. He really couldn't get a full rhythm going on, and things like that. He couldn't be as aggressive as he wanted to and things of that nature. But the thing is, Anthony Edwards, in this type of series, we're going to need you to put your head down and create opportunities. Be able to put 2 feet in the paint. Create open opportunities for guys like Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley, Jay McDaniels. You got to be able to free up the court for your other teammates. And that's what I was saying going into that Lakers series, going into these playoffs, is that Anthony Edwards is sometimes it's not all about your scoring. It's just about your scoring ability is going to make it where your playmaking ability should be hyping. Because people are going to be so worried about you. And you're going to be the vocal point of everybody's defensive scheme to be able to neutralize you. Where now, when you're in the aggressive attack mode, that just don't always mean, okay, I need to go shot hunt and go get 30 and 40. That means you can go get you 20 to 25 points and still get you a double-double. And you getting everybody else where, you got multiple guys in double figures tonight. Outside of you and Julius Randle, I don't think nobody else scored in double figures. And that's the main problem. Cause I was telling everybody, I know what I'm gonna get from Julius. After what I seen from Julius Randle and Draymond in that last series, what he did to Draymond, there's no doubt in my mind that whoever you put in front of Julius Randle in this OKC Thunder series, that they not gonna be dog food. Because you mean to tell me Chet Holmgren, he too small, Alex Caruso too small. Because the thing is, Julius Randle is too physical. When he's bagging you down and he's putting that shoulder into your chest, man, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna take a real load, and it's gonna wear down on you. You're not gonna want to keep taking one too many of them Julius Randle bumps into your chest all series, all game long. So he too physical. So I'm not really worried about Julius Randle. And as you see, he had a good game today. He had like almost 20 points in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? So Julius Randle, he's continuing to elevate his game and be able to play at a high level. You just need Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, you have to bring that intensity night in, night out, even when the shot not falling. You got to know, okay, my shot not falling, time to put my head down and make something happen, create opportunities. And that's what he needs to do going into game 2 and for the rest of this series. You need, with y'all being the bigger team, y'all need to be able to dominate the paint. If not dominate the paint, it can't be a pace and a point disparity of 30 points from 52 for OKC and 22 for y'all. 22 points in the paint is just clearly not enough. You living and dying by 3. Y'all shot 51 3-point attempts today. Y'all not the damn Boston Celtics, man. Get y'all last and get into that paint. Create opportunities where it's gonna free up opportunities to be able to get to the foul line, get guys in foul trouble. Disrupt their defensive identity, disrupt their offensive efficiencies and things like that in rhythm. Jay McDaniels, you gotta wake up. Obviously, you got a tough assignment. You got a lot in your hands. Guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you guarding 1-on-1. It's not like Christian Brown or Devin Nuggets. Y'all running zone. You guarding mano. So I know that's a tall task right there to be able to stop a player like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the way that he foul based and things to do of that nature. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But Jay McDaniels, to me, coming into the series, you is the X factor. Because you drawing that assignment on SGA and what you can be able to provide on the offensive end, giving the Minnesota Timberwolves 15 to 20 extra points from somebody like Jay McDaniels, that's what's going to make him the X factor. Because now he can play in multiple ways. He can be able to attack a closeout. He can be able to knock down the 3-ball. He can be able to get to the mid-range. He can be able to slash. He can be able to be a roller, where he's not just where he can put check and pick and roll opportunities and be able to roll and be able to create and play make out the short roll if they decide to put 2 on the ball. Jay McDaniels is a key piece to the Minnesota Timberwolves' success in this series. We're gonna need him to stay out of foul trouble, and we're gonna need him to be aggressive, looking for his offense in this series. Now, before I get to the OKC standpoint of this, three things that I want to key in where I think the Minnesota Timberwolves need to improve on from game 1 to game 2. What I didn't like from them is, less 3-point attempts. Well, I think 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. Less 3-point attempts, and I need to see more driving, get more points in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Y'all rebounding was okay, but y'all got to be able to take care of the ball as well. We know what OKC stand for and represent when it comes to their defense and how scrappy they is with Alex Caruso, Luke Dort, Cason Wallace, and all these guys on the perimeter and what they can do on the back line of defense. But the thing is, it's not like, even though OKC won this game today, they didn't do nothing spectacular. Minnesota didn't do nothing spectacular. So I don't want y'all to get this in his head where I'm just being one-sided. Because like I said, I'm going to get to OKC side from what I've seen and what I liked and what I didn't like from them. But I'm talking about Minnesota right now because they the one who lost this game, and why I think they need to improve on the next game to be able to ultimately come out on top and steal a game on OKC home floor. But like I said, Anthony Edwards, we need him to be more decisive, get to the paint, create opportunities for others, and also look to get down here to look for his own shots. Number 2, we're gonna need y'all to stop thinking when y'all in the mid post, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards. When y'all get in that high post, mid post area, when y'all get to backing down guys, you gotta understand, you gotta know that the help side defense is coming. So when y'all turning that shoulder, or you think you finna spin into contact, no, there's gonna be a steal every time, and they're gonna be running the other way and get 2 points on the other end, which they did a lot today. Naz Reid, y'all was forcing the issue, and Julius Randle. I'm living with Julius Randle, because obviously he got the mismatch. But the thing is, he kind of adjusted as the game progressed. But sometimes, you got to understand that the help side defense is coming. We got to know that. And number 3, that's what I say. We need more paint touches, more points in the paint. Less chucking of the 3. 51 threes is clearly too many. 22 points in the paint is clearly not enough. and you got to be able to take care of the ball. You know, you had 17 turnovers. OKC had 12 turnovers. So both of the, that's why I say Minnesota. This is gonna be a grind out game. But the thing is, you're gonna be able to minimize those turnovers and those live ball turnovers. I think that would be a difference, because now you give, if you minimize the live ball turnovers, if you still turn the ball over, you give your defense a chance to be able to set up in the half court and make the OKC Thunder beat you in the half court. And that's what the Minnesota Timberwolves need to do and focus on. Make the OKC beat us and not us beating ourselves. And that's all I got on the Minnesota Timberwolves. From OKC standpoint, I liked how they stayed with it. Chet Holmgren played a good game today. Jalen Williams was solid. You got good minutes off the bench from Williams. I think that's his name, from Williams. Big 34. You know, the big man Jalen Williams, the big J Will. He didn't get a lot of minutes today, but he stole all those minutes, and he gave them good production in the minutes he did play. You know, Alex Caruso gonna do what Alex Caruso gonna do. He gonna be that even kill, that good veteran player, knock down timely shots, be a menace on the defensive side of the ball, things like that. SGA, he was SGA. You know, he didn't have it going in the first half. But second half, you know, he got to the free throw line in the first half, and that kind of got him in rhythm. Starting the second half, his shot started to fall, and, you know, he was playing with house money from there. But OKC, what they can do, they can lean on you. You know, like I said, they got a notch where they can turn it on defensively, and that's what happened in the second half. They started to lean on Minnesota, and, you know, tried to make Minnesota, you know, beat them from the perimeter. You know, keep them from getting 2 feet inside the paint. And, you know, as those catch and shoot threes was coming from right there at the line, they was getting further and further back as some catch and shoot threes was coming from Nas Reed, but they was coming from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, from Dante DiVincenzo. You know, they was getting further and further out. And so OKC, they did a good job, you know, at neutralizing paint touches for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They did a good job of, you know, beating them up in the paint. You know, getting Gobert in early foul troubles. He had quick two fouls in the first quarter. You know, they're gonna mess up everything that Minnesota want to take away from the OKC Thunder. Because, you know, obviously what Rudy Gobert stand for at that back line of defense, being one of, you know, what a 3-time defensive player of the year, you know, one of the elite shot blockers that we have in the game. You know, OKC did a good job of neutralizing that, getting him in foul trouble, understanding the game plan and executing the game plan. That's what I seen from OKC today. You know, and to me, I just think they defense is really what won them their game. You know, limiting Minnesota chance to be able to play in transition, limiting Minnesota chance to put pressure on the rim. You know, limiting them to get to the free throw line, and forcing them to make 3-point shots. You know, and forcing them to shoot 3-point shots as well. You know, 51 3-point attempts. You know, if a team gonna, you know, live and die by the 3 like that, and, you know, and they shooting it as poorly as they is, you know, they doing something good on the defensive side of the ball. Man, cause that's how I just really felt like neither team really did, you know, really just wowed you away from this game. But that's what you expect from this series. It's gonna be a defensive battle. 2 great defensive teams, you know, collide. You know, it's going to just come down to who can make timely stops and who can execute in timely manner. And today, OKC, you know, going down the stretch the last, you know, 2-3 minutes of the fourth quarter, they was able to execute. I want to say going into the third quarter, they was kind of going the last couple seconds and couple minutes going into the third quarter. They went like a 17-2 run, and they didn't look back after that. You know. And they started expanding on the lead going into the end of the third, going into the fourth, and they built it on that momentum, and that's what happened. You know, it's a game of runs, and Minnesota at first they was even keel, staying right there, but Minnesota couldn't survive the avalanche, and OKC, the Thunder punch that OKC had through, and that's just how I feel, man. You know, but OKC, you know, takeaways, what I think OKC can improve from, or, you know, stick to. Obviously, you know, keep up the defensive intensity. You know, keep trying to, you know, abuse them in the paint. You know, and take care of the ball. Now, if I'm Minnesota Timberwolves in game 2, I'm telling my guys, you know, number 1 priority, Anthony Edwards, get downhill, put pressure on OKC shot blockers to be able to get to the foul line, get some easy buckets, and create opportunities for your teammates. Number two, we got to be able to take care of the ball, especially in the half court setting. We know that they're going to be swarming on the perimeter. We got to be able to take care of the ball and limit loud ball turnovers. Number three, we got to be able to get in the paint. We cannot rely on three-point shooting in this series. We got to take it when it's there. 51 three-point shot attempts is not going to cut it. 22 points in the paint is not going to cut it. Those are the three things that Minnesota need to focus on and lock in for game 2 if they want to be able to, steal a game on OKC home floor. And I'm going to see y'all at the game 2. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure y'all follow me right here, because at the game 2, we're going to discuss it.